From Nashville's WSM Radio, the original home of the Grand Ole Opry, this is a Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast.
Hey, it's Charlie Matos, and welcome to our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast in our Magnolia Lobby studio with Billy Boy Cody, Kelly Sutton, and Aaron Cooper. And I know anytime Will and Langdon Reed come in the studio, Bill, at Wilson Fairchild, two of your favorites, and their dads were two of your favorites going back in the day.
Gosh, I was just thinking about seeing the Statler brothers, and they'd come out there in those patriotic motif suits on stage, you know, with stars and stripes and bell bottoms and the whole thing. I remember Freedom Hall is the first time I think I ever saw them in Louisville during my years at WHAS. But Don and Harold Reed, the Statler brothers, and their sons, Will and Langdon, who are Wilson Fairchild. Their middle names, by the way.
Yes.
So they got the name.
Brand new album called Statler Made. We'll visit with them. Our buddy Dusty Slay came by to see us before heading to the Grand Ole Opry.
Having a good time.
Having a good time.
You can't see my hand, but I'm doing the hand.
That's like the international Dusty Slay sign. Having a good time.
Or as we learned, an inordinate amount of people come up to him and say, We're having fun. Well,
but
we are.
Doesn't it also double as that's the end of that joke?
Yes. Now, sometimes you'll know because you're laughing, but sometimes I have to tell you.
We've come to the end of the joke.
He's a modest man.
I watched the Netflix special. It is very, very funny.
Yes.
So if you haven't watched it, it is available on Netflix, and we talk a little bit about that and the fact that I think at one point it was at number 2 of all of the things being viewed on Netflix.
Yep, called Working Man.
So good.
Yep. And then a guy who made his Opry debut joined us in studio and was your pick of the week, Pryor Baird.
Aww.
Man. Yeah. Might have met a girl. That is the most infectious thing. One play through, and you're like, oh, I got to hear it again and again and again. And it's an earworm. And I'm very excited for him. He's from Orcutt, California. And to give you an idea, if you live in Orcutt, that's the central coast of California. Your neighbors at one time were the Hearsts. You know, the big house on the hill, Enchanted Hill, the Hearst Mansion, San Simeon. Yeah, it's just up the road.
Then the Bairds moved in and the property values just went.
Wow. Listen, Pryor.
We love you, Pryor.
Pryor and I are related somehow.
Oh, that's
We've
true.
discussed this.
Well, we know what you do to property values.
Yeah.
That's your mother's maiden name?
My mother's maiden name is Baird. And then when we started talking about it, I said, yeah, we still have like the tartan that came from Scotland and the family crest. And he looked at me and he said, does the family crest have a boar in the middle of it? And I said, it does. So, yeah, we're somehow distant cousins. We claim it.
Oh, my God.
I think you missed out on the boar's head fortune.
Yeah.
Sure did.
As the years went on.
They make a good London broil, though. All right, so there's your menu for your Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. We'll kick things off with Wilson Fairchild, a visit with Dusty Slay, and Kelly's fifth cousin, Pryor Baird.
And we're having a good time.
We're having a good time.
Two of my favorite people have just sat down in the studio this morning. Will and Langdon Reed, Wilson Fairchild on Coffee, Country, and Cody. And their modesty precedes them. We have learned that they told the Grammys, go ahead and put the Combs Boy on. We don't want to go out there and do that Grammy thing, that live.
It's got to be who we are.
Yeah. We don't even know how to drive from Virginia to California, so, you know, it just wasn't for us.
Yeah. We don't even know where that is, California.
Yeah.
It's weird weather out there.
But we removed ourselves from it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
California's just too far away from Buc-ee's. You know, it's just something we try to stay away from.
If there's not a Buc-ee's or a Cracker Barrel within shooting distance, you don't want to go.
That's our point of reference.
So when you leave Stanton, Virginia, driving to Nashville, Tennessee, is it the Crossville location? Is that the closest Buc-ee's to you guys?
On your
Actually,
trip?
Sevierville is.
Oh,
to us.
the new one.
Yeah.
But, that one in Crossville.
You get two. You get two opportunities. Yeah.
But the big news is about 20 minutes down the road from our house, they are putting in a Buc-ee's and it'll be ready to go in a couple of years. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we've already put in our applications for manager positions.
We got about 2 more years of music business.
We're going to try to get into six figures, and get out of the music business.
When you walk in and look at that board of what everyone makes, I'm like, man, I wish this was around when I was starting radio, because I never made any of these numbers in radio.
Right. Here's your new bathroom manager right here.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I can do it.
You look like more of a brisket man to me.
I am a brisket man. Yeah.
What do they say when it comes out of the oven hot? They say something.
They yell.
Is it just yelling?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
Get on!
something like that. Yeah.
They got that from Briscoe Darling on the Andy Griffith Show.
That's right. Briscoe's brisket. That has a ring to it. Yeah. I like it.
Well, guys, Statler Made is a reality.
It's out.
It is out. There is an album. There is a DVD that I was honored to host the sit down with you guys as a part of the DVD with the Gaither family. So
Yes.
give us a backstory on how we got to this point and you decided, hey, we're going to celebrate our fathers, our famous fathers and their running buddies all those years that made this, the Statler brothers.
I guess this is something that has plagued us our whole career, right, Langdon?
Exactly.
Yeah,
We've been cursed.
exactly.
Yes.
We've said it before. All the musical roads we've been down over the years, writing music, trying to make friends in Nashville, trying to get record deals, having record deals that really weren't record deals. You know, everybody's the same story. We always went back to our dad's music because the Statler brothers had, you know, they're in the Hall of Fame. They had this huge fan base, right? And but even with the fans of all the shows we've done everywhere, yeah, they always accepted us for what we did and really liked it. But you look a little bit like your daddy, and you sound a little bit like your daddy. And when we were younger, you know, we were trying to separate. We were trying to get away from it, as you would, because we knew that, you know, you got to stand on your own 2 feet. But then a few years ago, we were like, you know what? If we don't carry on the music, you know, it's nobody else is, you know, and we can do it, and we love it, and we love everything they wrote and everything they did. And so when we got around to this Gaither deal, we said, you know, how do y'all want to do this? So this is the first time we've actually recorded their hits, you know, the big songs.
And was this a meeting with Bill Gaither?
Actually, it was a meeting with Paul Sizlove, who's head of Gaither.
Big Paul.
Big Paul.
Yeah. Big Paul.
Big Paul.
Bill's,
and,
he sat in the limo. He
yeah.
sat in the limo. He didn't.
And Barry Jennings, and you know, they had success re-releasing the Statler's farewell concert after they retired, you know, and through Cracker Barrel, and you know, so they were like, you know, we'd love to be associated with the Statler. Part of your legacy, and I don't even think they knew we could sing when we signed the deal, but the record's really good.
Well, we can't sing like the two guys on the album. We got two other guys. We Milli Vanilli did.
It's actually Milli Vanilli that sings on the album, but it sounds like
it's a weird twist.
It's so weird
that we got them.
I hope our audience is picking up. If you're of a certain age, you are picking up on this, and you're laughing out loud right now at the Milli Vanilli reference.
Yeah.
Right, Kelly?
Yes, I can see it all. So what songs, how did you make the set list? Like which ones, I mean, you know the biggies have got to be on there, but what were some of the other songs? Did you have some fights over it?
You know, no, we again, with Barry Jennings and Paul Sizlove and me and Will, we had these meetings, and so we said, all right, we wanted traditional country music on there. Mm-hmm. We wanted some gospel music on there, and we wanted some Statler music on there. Mm-hmm. And that really is, like he was saying, that's who we are. Mm-hmm. And that's you come see us in our live shows. That's the music that we love and are used to playing. So we went back and made our list, and then he and I both made about 3 sheets of songs that we wanted to do and possibilities, and then got back together and, okay, which ones match up? We'll definitely do those. And so it was a process that we went, but we wound up with 6 Statler Brothers songs, 3 gospel songs, and 3 classic country songs. And so, you know, this project is if you as we've said before, it's got Johnny Cash and George Jones, Elvis, the Statler Brothers, and Jesus. So that's who
that pretty much covers who we are.
So if any of that offends you, then you probably don't
through
want to
Wilson
buy this.
Fairchild.
Wait a minute, and Bill Cody? I don't know.
He was the final piece.
Yes, he was.
You have no idea how bad they didn't want him to do it.
It almost
And
broke
we
us
said
to
no.
get him in.
We know who Bill Cody is, and we want him there.
They had that shoot day, and I was.
Let me in.
He's here. Let him in.
No.
What do we do now? He's here.
I love this, though. You can buy the CD, but if you buy the DVD, you get the CD as well. So that
That's
seems
right.
like the no-brainer way to go.
Right.
Right?
Well,
Yeah.
again, that's kind of how we run our operation, Charlie. We're bargain guys.
There we
So
go.
if
We
it's
came
not
up
a
with
bargain, you know, we're not into it.
It's called a combo. We came up with this.
That's why we go to Buc-ee's.
bundle?
No, they don't have bargains.
Well, they don't have combos there.
What you have to do now is come up with a deluxe edition, like a year out.
Right.
You come up and you sell it to them again.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And they don't even know it.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Just you
that's
changed
right.
it, kind of like the Elvis Christmas albums. It's all the same album, but just a different cover each year.
With maybe the outtakes of our interview sit down.
Yes.
So you put that on there as the bonus,
Yes.
and it's the deluxe edition.
You just want us to call you back. You want to be involved, don't you, Bill? Okay, you're in.
Okay.
You're in. You're deluxe.
Yeah.
what's going on.
So when did the two of you, did you do it solo musically at any point, or were you always a duo?
We've always done this together.
Always.
Yes.
And literally back to teenage days, you know.
Do you have a local band in Stanton?
We did. So, gosh, we've been lying about our age for years, and then Google comes along and really messes that up. You know, nobody can lie about that anymore, right?
So
Preach.
we're 36 years
Right.
old. Go ahead and Google it.
So,
Kelly Sutton, 29.
there.
I know somebody at Google.
but literally, 14 and 16, Langdon and I are 2 years apart. So when I was 16, he was 14. We said, we started playing guitars, a little bit of drums. We're going to go to band practice. And that's when we started playing. And
You had a driver's license.
I drove, and I told you before, he didn't, but it didn't matter. I'd let him drive anyway. And
You got to learn somewhere, Charlie.
to make this story even more picturesque, at the time, our dads had their office complex in Stanton at the old Beverly Manor school. Old elementary school that they had redone, right? So there was a stage and a gym in there. That's where we would go for band rehearsal. We'd go on the stage over there in the empty gym, and drums and bass, and Langdon and I playing guitars, and we've had keyboard over the years. But that's how it all started. Our first show was a talent show at a local high school, and we did all the local stuff for all the local people, and toured around and did, another great thing, our dads did for us back in the 90s when we were coming along is we appeared on the Statler Brothers show a few times as an artist, and then also in their the segment on the show Yesteryear,
Yeah.
exactly.
And that show, that was number one for 7 years.
On TNN.
I'm just saying that we,
You think we had something to do with that?
I mean, if you do the math, if you,
I guess we can lie about that now.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know where they shot it? Studio A at the Opry House.
Really?
Right, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was the home of the television show.
What was the name of the band? You didn't drop that earlier.
The original name of the band was Grand Staff. And
Family name, right?
It's an old family name, and it actually had a great story. It was an old family name, and supposedly a 5th grade uncle had been given the name by an Indian because he carried himself like a grand staff. I have no idea if it's true, okay?
It sounds
the
good.
problem with the name plagued us. Again, the word plague came back for years because nobody ever got it right. Grind stuff.
Grand Funk Railroad.
The
Well, I can
best
hear you guys
one,
doing taking care of business.
The best
That'd be
one was
strong,
Grand
right?
Staff Infection.
Right.
That was a good one.
Oh.
Right. And when you're
Grandstand.
trying to book a fare and they have to ask you again on the phone, what's the name again? So we eventually parted ways with the name. And we got around to Wilson Fairchild. That's our middle names, by the way. Again, one of those times we're establishing ourselves, and we are not the Statler Brothers. We are Wilson Fairchild,
The ambassadors of traditional country music.
Thank you.
On Coffee, Country, and Cody, all over the world on Circle TV, our streaming platforms. You can find them. All of them are listed there. Easy to see when you get to circlecountry.com. And our app is in the App Store. Look for Circle now. Here's Do You Know You Are My Sunshine?
Studio this morning. Lots of stuff going on, including talking with our friend Dusty Slay. Glad to have you in. Good to see you.
All right, I'm pumped to be here. We're having a good time.
Are we?
We should change this to Coffee, Cody, and Kelly today. You
Okay,
know what
that's
I mean?
fine. We
You
can
know,
do
you
that.
don't see Kelly with a C a lot, but, I don't know why, Do you know what I
It
mean?
would sort of be Chelly, I think.
Well,
right?
that's what you think,
Yeah.
but C sometimes makes that sound.
Yeah,
You know what I
I
mean?
hope and pray that I never see Kelly with a C.
Yeah,
That's
one
all
day.
right. That's okay.
One day, if I have another daughter, that's what I'm going to do.
Oh, please
Name
do.
her Kelly with a C.
I like
Just
that.
to confuse people.
There you
Well,
go.
that's okay. You came in straight from Huntsville, so
Yeah.
thank you for making the drive, and
Yeah.
getting up in here.
I had a great time.
You're always out on the weekends. That's always like the whole thing for you all, and you're kind of like a traveling musician in that regard.
Yeah, I'm trying to not be gone all the time. I
Right.
got kids, and I like being home.
Yeah.
I like to go out and do comedy, but I like to come home and just hang out.
That's good for
I
you.
like my family.
How old are your kids?
2, and my daughter's 2.5. My son is like 7 months.
Oh, okay. So you go away to get sleep.
Yeah, well, I do get, that is what I get. I get sleep, but I feel like my son, he doesn't get, like, my daughter's cool. She's like, bye, Dad, but my son, I think my son's like, what happened to that guy that's here sometimes?
Well, here's the other thing. He's 7 months old, so clearly he knows what you look like. You can't really like shave the beard or cut the hair. Not that you would, but if you did, he would freak out.
Yeah, he would freak out.
Yeah.
Especially, probably my whole family would. My wife might even freak out if I shaved the beard. You know?
Let's not do that.
Yeah.
Keeping the look.
But sometimes I don't even know if my kids know what I look like. I was watching like some Hank Jr. videos, and my daughter is used to seeing me on TV because I'll be on the phone or whatever, and I'll have videos, and she kept seeing pictures of Hank Jr. and she'd go, "That's you, Dad. That's you, Dad." Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh, all right. Well." Yeah.
That's good.
I don't get that a lot. People always say I look like somebody, but they never say Hank Jr. I would be okay with that. I never get cool people. I'm always like, they say I look like a Walmart Billy Ray Cyrus or something like that. Not that Billy Ray Cyrus is not cool, but
not that Billy Ray Cyrus wouldn't be in
version.
Walmart, because he absolutely would be.
And I didn't even know what he looked like now. I still remember Billy Ray Cyrus as Achy Breaky Heart guy, and I was like, I don't get that at all. But you know what I mean?
Well, we love hanging out with you. We're so glad you're here. Stick around. We're going to talk more. Dusty Slay hanging out with us in the studio right here on WSM.
This has been for the radio audience only. Let's rejoin television, shall we?
All right, let's do it.
Coffee, Country, and Cody. This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Hey, welcome in, everybody watching us this morning. We are happy to have you on our live stream, Coffee, Country, and Cody. It's Kelly Sutton, Charlie Meadows, and we have our friend Aaron Cooper hanging out, running the board for us this morning. Dusty Slay in studio. The hand this is automatic. You don't even have a choice.
Well, I love doing it. Some people seem to get irritated. I just got a comment where a guy was like, the nervous hand waving is a little distracting. People always assume everything you do is nervous energy. They're like, and I'm like, they just want me to just stand there just stand still and just tell my jokes, I guess, I'm like, I'm trying to do some things out here. Right. Get a little movement going. Get a little visual gags happening. But they're all like, he's nervous. He's doing this. He's touching things. And I'm like, just take it easy,
I do love the fact that you address that. The Netflix special, by the way, is so funny.
Thank you.
I watched it last
that.
weekend. My husband and I were rolling. But the part about the fact that you're touching and you're like, I'm just a third base coach trying to get people.
Yeah. I explained the whole thing, but people can't get it. They're like, everything. It's like we have so much content to consume now that nothing is ever good enough for anyone.
That's true.
They all got to go, he was doing this, and he moves around a lot. And I'm like, people say that. I couldn't watch it because he moves around so much. And I'm like, you don't watch a lot of action flicks at home.
Right.
Really.
Well, people are watching it. You're number 2 on Netflix.
I know. It's a hot special. That's why one guy said, he said how not funny it was. And then I went to his Instagram, and he had just had brain surgery. And I was like, well, that's what happened there.
That's a
you
pass.
know what I mean?
So, do we know
you can't comment on that one. You got to just let that one
it go.
slide.
I go, that's okay. You've had some stuff going on, and they could have removed your sense of humor. I don't know what they did in there.
It's in the hippocampus somewhere.
So, do we know what's number 1 on Netflix so we can all stop watching that for a week?
Well, it was at the time. It was something, some show called like "Fool Me Once," which I thought was interesting because it was number 1 and I was number 2, almost as if you had been fooled into watching that show when you should have been watching my Netflix. Now, this is how people have explained it to me, that it was in the top 10 of TV shows. Right. So if you watch a TV show, it might have 50 episodes. So each episode you watch goes toward that number. So the fact that I was that high and I only had my 1 episode.
Wow.
I felt like.
So if I go watch it again, does that count? Or is it just if you watch it the first time with your Netflix login?
I never know if Netflix is listening and they're like that. Maybe they hear me say it and they go, that doesn't count. But I would say it does. Leave it running when you're not even home. Just let it go.
There it is.
If you have animals, just drive your dogs crazy. You get home, your dog's waving at you.
Having a good time. We're having
touching his hat. You're like, my dog's nervous.
So do you get this all the time on the road now? Because inevitably when I see you, I just want to do that.
Well, a lot of people don't get, like I say, we're having a good time a million times, and people will go, we're having fun. And I'm like, well... Yeah, we are. But that's not what I say, though. That's not the thing.
Okay, I got to be honest with you, though. It's so funny how when you talk about it, you're like, a lot of people will come out and ask, are we having a good time?
Yeah.
And I instinctively do that when I'm hosting the Opry. I will be up there, and every once in a while I'll say, are we having a good time? And now I think of you every time. And I'm like, oh, I can't. I'm just going to tell everybody we're having a good time.
Well, when you're coming up in comedy, you do all these showcases, and it's like it'd be comic after comic after comic coming up going, are we having a good time? And it just feels like after the 10th time, they're like, yes, okay, just do your thing.
Yes.
So you just come out and you let them know.
Also, subliminal messaging.
Yeah.
You're just letting everybody know. You're forcing it to them.
If you're on a date, you don't want to be like, are you having fun?
Yes.
You just tell them. You go, we're having a good time.
This is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We are having a great time.
Yeah.
We're having fun.
You were actually, John Chris posted a picture of you guys on a plane together. He said, I'm sitting next to him, and I immediately DM'd him, are you having a good time? And he just sent me the hand emoji.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, we were sitting there, and somebody also DM'd him and said, tell him we're having fun. And yeah, I know. And John goes, that's not even a thing.
That's not even a thing. So you are on the road so much right now. Is it just plane, trains, and automobiles all the time? Are you driving to most of these places?
No, I fly most of the time. So I'm out here, I'm out here hanging out at the airport, getting harassed by the TSA. And
good.
They love to touch me at the TSA.
Really?
They do. They're always like, oh, you've been randomly selected, And then they want you to get in like the weird x-ray machine. If you have pre-check, you get to go around
like
that.
this.
Yeah, where you hold your hands up and then it like scans your body and like identifies things on there, and it'll go, you got something going on here. And then the TSA guy comes and he goes, you're good. And I'm like, yeah, but what did it see though? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on with my collarbone?
Yeah.
Is this a free MRI
Yeah,
that I
it
just
saw
got?
something in there. Now I got to walk around going, what's going on with my collarbone?
It does feel a bit weird.
Yeah.
Something's happening right there. You got to have TSA pre-check at this
do.
point.
But that's what happens when you get randomly selected. They put you in that. Or if you say, I want to opt out, then they really get touchy with you. They really get aggressive. I do it sometimes just to make them work.
Just for fun.
Yeah, I just want to make them work.
Keeping them on their toes.
Yeah, they're all thinking they're saving our lives out here, so
That's
I want to
right.
let them. I want to put them to the test.
Now, you did the Netflix special. You were in Knoxville.
Yes.
What was that like for you when you're going into it knowing, okay, this is going to be taped for a special? Obviously, you've got the set down. You know what you're going to do. But how does that change your vibe, your mental state as you're walking out there?
Well, it's super awkward because whenever you're taping something, at least in my head, if a joke doesn't go well, I always think the audience is going, oh, you're going to use that one, huh? That's what you planned for the special, huh? That's the material you felt like was the best. That's where I always go. That's the kind of abuse I put on myself. But fortunately, this audience was great, and I'd really worked this set. I knew all this set was good, and I did 2 shows. Both shows were great. So it's like it was good enough to where the first show I could just use that one if I wanted. And then the second show I got to relax and have fun and even completely relaxed. I was still waving, touching my hat, no nerves, but I was still doing it.
You'll appreciate this. So I was explaining to Renee that it was at the Bijou, by the way. Beautiful.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of musical guests play there, but I'd never seen it. So I love the fact that they took some panoramic shots. It's a gorgeous building. But I was explaining to my wife that you did 2 straight nights. So she goes, well, how do you do that? And I go, well, you just got to wear the same stuff. So if they edit it, it looks natural. So she goes, so do you think he did like laundry, like in between the shows? And I'm like, Renee, he's a guy. He could do 5 straight nights and have no issue wearing the same clothes.
And sometimes I do.
Yes.
And, listen, I got a shirt I like, and I'll wear it. And sometimes I'll wear it the whole weekend. And so I just put it on at night to do the show. And
it's kind of like trying clothes on in the dressing room.
Yeah.
You just have it on for an hour or 2, and then you take it off.
I'm not getting all sweaty out here. I'm not, I know I wave a lot, but I'm not, I really don't get that physical,
There's no profuse sweating that's happening.
Sometimes there'll be a towel on the stool for me,
Yeah.
like where like I guess to dry my sweat, and I think, well, that's a waste of a towel.
this.
It's like maybe I'll spill my water up here. Or
That's
something,
good though.
You know?
Good that you have that on the rider.
Yeah.
What is on your rider?
Not very much. I think my agent has just put things on there
Just to see.
just so I have something because I really have no demands. They asked for a mirror for my green room. I know the words mirror, but now I say mirror and I've become aware of it. So whenever I say it, I think about it, but now I don't want to change it because that's how I've always said it. I'm in my 40s and that's how I've always said it. I don't want to be switching it up to mirror. Who says mirror? You know what I mean?
Feels extra.
It does. It's too much. But apparently that's on my rider for me to have a full-length mirror in the room, and I don't even look at myself. And but I did a gig one time where the guy they put me in an RV out back with for my green room because they said that's the only thing we had with a full-length mirror in it, and I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, that's on your rider that you have to have that. I go, okay. I was like, look at me. I was like, look at me. You think I'm looking at that's the last thing I want right before I walk out. Sometimes I do that. I go, this is how you're going out there?
I did notice, though, that instead of a bottle of water or a small cup of water, you have like the largest glass of water I think I've ever seen.
Like a Stanley? What is it?
It was
no,
like
just a big glass. It was heavy. I mean, I commented on it on the special. I said, "This is a heavy cup." And I like that. I love to make a water joke, and it usually doesn't go well. But I love to make a joke about the water I'm drinking. I like weird stuff in comedy. You know, I like weird, subtle things. That's why when people say things about the waving or what, it's like, all right, you just don't. You don't get it, and that's okay. You're allowed to not get it, but you don't have to come to social media to let me know that you don't get it.
Hey, stay tuned, everybody. Dusty Slay is our guest this morning. We're going to have you hang around if that's okay. You got somewhere
Sounds
to be?
great.
All right. He's going to hang out with us. We're talking about his new Netflix special. We've got more on that. You said he was one of your favorites, so we thought we'd play some Merle Haggard for you this morning.
I don't really know, to be honest. It's kind of. I've been in this town for so long. And it's just one of those things, not just being in this town, do you want to play here, but like even since you were a little kid, you know, I wanted to do this. And so then it just came about like last month, and then it's here, and it's like last night there was a part of me where it's like, slow down.
Yeah.
Time, just slow down a little bit so we can, because it's going to go by so fast, you know? And I don't want it to, and I'm so happy to be here, and it's just trying to soak it all in.
Okay, so I need to set the scene. We're going to relive.
This is
gonna
too
relive.
good.
Do we need to play the, like...
Welcome
I
to
wanted
the
to
trauma.
do a reenactment in
Dramatic
studio, but Kelly
reenactment.
was not so up
I
for
was
that.
like, no. So we are going to watch our friend Kelsey Ballerini, her sold-out hometown show in Knoxville, Tennessee. Black River, your label, her label, kind enough to say, hey, we're going to take a bus. Y'all come get on the bus. We're all going to ride together. I come in. Hot. I wasn't going to say it, but you said it. I was coming in hot, and I had my arms full of stuff because we're going to do work on the bus, whatever. And I get literally steps away from stepping on the bus, and I see Marin Taylor, and I'm like, hey! And I go to hug her, and when I did, I twisted my ankle and literally went straight to the ground. And the next thing I know, Pryor is standing over me going, are you okay? And I'm thinking, yeah, no, I'm fine. And your eyes.
It was one of those things like having in front of you, you saw it happen, you're like, okay, it's not that bad. I definitely heard something. I don't know if it's like what she dropped in her hands, but I heard something.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, you okay? She's like, yeah, I think so. I'm like, I'm going to get you some ice.
Little did we know it was a broken foot at that point. But
Did she rally, though? Let me tell you something. She rallied the whole time. Went to the concert.
yeah. You were going to keep me from a sold-out Kelsey show?
No.
That was it.
It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you for
And it
bringing
was
me
graceful.
ice.
The fall was graceful. Everything. There was not. She didn't make a sound, not a peep.
I don't know if it was graceful, but I
watched it.
appreciate
Trust
that.
me, it was graceful.
And then I jokingly said on the show, I was like, well, Pryor helped pick me up and put me on the bus. And the next
scored a
thing you know, he
perfect
gets
10 on
invited to
landing.
be on the Grand Ole Opry. I mean, one doesn't have anything to do with the other, but it does help when you pick up an Opry announcer off of the
Absolutely. Absolutely.
just watching all the things that have happened in this town. Talk to us about how you got started in country music and how you ended up here.
Oh, man. Well, I ended up here in March 10th, 2011. I left my hometown on March 6th with a pickup truck, 10 guitars, a suitcase, and a mattress, and I strapped it over the top of my F-150 pickup and tarped it down and drove here. And I never met anybody, never been here before, and just kind of threw it out there and said what was going to happen, and got here, lived in Green Hills. I got a little room over there, and then I worked at the Union Stockyard for a while, which was amazing. It was it was after the Bullpen Lounge, but but that's how I got my start, man. I just came here and didn't know anybody, didn't know what to do. I started playing at this place called Soulshine Family Jam Band, and met some great people and just toured around and did everything that I could to keep playing music. And one thing led to another, and then I got on The Voice through a friend of mine, which led to saying, okay, maybe you can really do this. And so I put my nose to the grindstone even harder and got off The Voice, and then got a country music duo, and then that happened, and then that didn't work, and then there we are with this, and it's been a journey.
Soulshine of Soulshine Pizza.
Yep.
That is the first place I ever went to the first time I came to Nashville and got their barbecue nachos.
Yep,
and I miss them to this day.
They still have one. They have Soulshine. It's in Spring Hill.
WSM field trip.
Okay, road trip. For
I can still remember their radio commercials because they were very unique radio commercials. Like if you heard it, you did not forget those radio commercials.
Chris Sarton on there, man.
Yeah,
Brother
exactly.
Chris Sarton, he was the man, still is.
So, stepping into the circle, there's a lot of history there. It can be a little intimidating. But I have to think, though, if you can play before millions of people and trying to concentrate on a song while watching four chairs and praying one of them turns around and still keeping it all together. I mean, that's an interesting.
That's a lot.
There's no way to prepare for that, though, right?
Well, actually, you get to go on stage and you get to walk around, you get to see everything, and there's not millions of people. There's only a few hundred people sitting in there.
So you don't think of who's watching necessarily.
No, heck no.
Okay.
Man, if I did that, I would pee my pants. Okay. I would freak out for sure. Okay. No way. Heck no. No, but that's a little different. I was never expecting to be on a radio or on a reality TV show. I didn't think about those, but this is one of those things that you've been preparing for your whole life. I've been waiting for this to, hoping this would happen someday, not knowing if it is going to happen, and now it is. It's like, whoa.
So where did you grow up in California?
I grew up in a little bitty town called Old Orchid, California. It's right in between Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo.
Oh,
right
how beautiful. You say Santa Barbara, and I'm already like, it's gorgeous, right?
Yeah,
Is it pretty?
Kind of hard to beat.
Mm-hmm. And how did country music play in? Was that what was playing on the radio with mom and dad? Like, where were you getting that influence?
Yeah, my dad was a country music fan, and he... My parents got divorced when I was really little, so I would stay with him for a week, and when I was there, we would listen to nothing but country music. Mm-hmm. And on Wednesdays, we would always listen to Hank Williams, or Hank Thompson. And Six Pack to Go was over our favorite song, and we'd sit there and we'd listen to, Reno and Smiley and Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs, and we'd listen to George Jones and all country music, and that's what we'd listen to at Dad's house. And so that's where that came from. I mean, country music has been there since I was born, and my dad could never sing a lick, but he knew all the words, and so country music's been there since I hit the ground.
Man, isn't that interesting that he couldn't sing and then the gene gets passed on to you?
Yes, his name was Gene.
My dad's name is Gene.
And he always said it was in the genes.
It's in the genes. How about that? What was his favorite song? Did he get to hear you sing, or?
Oh yeah, he actually he just passed on December 1st, so.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. So this will be. He wanted to be here for this, so this will be a big deal.
He's gonna be there.
Oh yeah.
He'll be there. Listening.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
No, but you know what? That's part of it. When you open yourself up and you talk about those life experiences, that's what people connect with, because you're going through a lot of stuff that other people are going through too. Yeah. So, and that's where the music heals, right?
You betcha. It's not easy. There's a song that I'm going to sing tonight that I wrote a long time ago, and I had no idea like what it would mean, not just to everybody else, but it would mean to me. And so now it hits home a little different, you know?
Yeah. You got a lot of people that are coming in, going to be in the audience tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. There's,
they're going to be loud and obnoxious.
Yeah, it's going to be hopefully not too obnoxious, but a
little's okay.
A little's good.
Yeah.
We're the good-natured riot.
If there was like a little, like an arrow to where I could point in the nation where it's going to be the loudest, it's going to be North Carolina, because those American saddlebred people will be here, and they're crazy people. So I would imagine that's It's gonna be pretty wild.
I like it. You're also releasing a song this weekend, right?
Released it last night. Came out today.
Oh.
Might Have Met a Girl came out last night.
All right, give us the backstory on this.
Might Have Met a Girl. It's a happy-go-lucky, one of those. Everybody falls in love sometimes, you know. When you do the next morning, you're like, wow, did I meet somebody? Is this did I meet the right person? I think I might have. And you got a smile on your face, and you're happy, and everything about you is like, you little light in your steps, you got a snap in your fingers. It's like, yeah, it's one of those happy, you know. It's
perfect.
I met somebody, maybe.
Maybe.
Might have met a girl.
There's intrigue in there.
I know.
You know?
All right, so is this going to be like the world debut of Might Have Met a Girl on the radio?
It is indeed.
Special. And I get to press the button to
this
play
is
it.
the worldwide debut. Pryor Baird, Might Have Met a Girl. You're hearing it right now on WSM all around the world.
Come on.
Woke up this morning with a smile on my face. Kinda think I know how it got there. Kinda think I want it to stay for a while. It's just a feeling, it's too.
Thanks for listening to the Coffee, Country, and Cody Podcast. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And please leave us a 5-star review. This podcast was produced through the facilities of WSM Radio in Nashville, Tennessee. The hosts of Coffee, Country, and Cody are Bill Cody, Charlie Matos, and Kelly Sutton. Producer, Eric Markham. WSM General Manager and Director of Content and Programming, J. Patrick Tittle. Copyright 2023. Opry Entertainment Group Holdings, LLC.